everybody. So today we're going to be doing a quiet ASMR-ish type video for NIMBY Rails. I love transportation. I don't know if this will stay ASMR. I normally do ASMR on this channel, but I don't know. Let me know if you would rather me not talk quieter, but I think it could be relaxing. I also say ASMR-ish because, I'm not going to worry too much about if a motorcycle goes past or something, so it will be a slice of life today. Okay, let me open up the game and then I will explain to you guys what it is if you do not know yet. Okay, I love public transportation. I love looking at maps, and I am a really big proponent of I wish we had better public transportation in the United States. And I do think that absolutely there are so many pockets of the US that could have better transit. With that being said, I'm not, doing this for to see financially how it would go. I mean, it'll still tell us the money, but I don't want to get brick-walled at any point, so we are going to turn on unlimited money because we're just seeing what the best public transportation system would be. I'm going to try to keep it realistic. I'm not going to build a high-speed line between every city and town and stuff, Anyways, I am going to start a new game here, RS Lines, and that just stands for Random State Lines. The screen right before this that I showed you guys, that was me picking a random state, and it landed on Louisiana. I don't know if that's what we'll do every time or not, but that's what we're doing this time at least. Interesting. I never realized that it doesn't list this, or it doesn't show the state lines. I honestly might need to have Google Maps open on my phone just to see where the state lines are. I've never looked at Louisiana that close, so. I am so mad. I don't even know when I paused this last or what was said last. I'm gonna just catch you guys up on what we just did because I haven't done that much, I don't think, since I paused it. I was still figuring out what I wanted to do, basically. So let me tell you the basic game plan here. I did find the button to turn on the state lines. I'm stupid. We're gonna start with the north end here first, as you just seen. And then we'll work our way down. Now this north part, we're gonna build a corridor going across this top part of the state. That's probably what we'll get to today, honestly. Hopefully we'll get to it all. I think we will. We might go a little across the border to Jackson into Marshall or something like that. I don't know. The way I'm going to design this, I think, is thinking of it as this is a hub, this is a hub. So Shreveport's going to be a hub. Monroe will be a hub. I am going to build, I don't know if I am Monroe, honestly. Maybe a little, but not that much. Shreveport will definitely have its own city transit, but something that's very important to me is transit to get from Shreveport to Minden, or I think these are county lines, I'm assuming. So this county, this county, this county, this county, this county, this county will all be connected to Shreveport by rail, whatever's feasible. I haven't zoomed in on them that much, so we'll see. It looks like some of these are pretty barren, so we might not have that much work to do with that. But and then the same with Monroe. And we may have some smaller hubs too, but the point of these two hubs is because eventually, probably not today, we might get the bare bones of a high-speed rail started. but don't expect to see success on that yet until we get to the other surrounding states. Because my goal is having a high-speed rail from Dallas to Shreveport to Monroe to Jackson, just in this general area. Obviously, it would extend further. I'm not really sure where exactly, but I think as long as we have good regional transit at each of these hubs, and when appropriate, good city transit in the cities, I think that we can absolutely achieve that. I was talking about it in the part that got deleted. I had a save file for Indiana, and I did that in Indiana. I had a high-speed rail line going from Fort Wayne to Marion to Kokomo to Carmel to Indianapolis to Bloomington to Washington to Evansville. Now, Washington, you're wondering, why a high-speed rail line there? Well, I would recommend, I forget the name of it, but the channel City Nerd, if you like transit, you probably are already aware of that channel. He's done a video on it before. I recommend his, but a basic, quick version of it is if the distance is too short, so if you was to try to build a high-speed rail line and you had to stop in Shreveport and you had to stop in Minden, the distance isn't far enough apart. It would make more sense for more people to travel by car then, so they will, more likely. But that's why we're going to have regional rail, because we will connect them by rail, but just not high-speed rail. Anyways, high-speed, though, from like Shreveport to Monroe, I think that's just about the sweet spot. Now, Shreveport and Monroe, especially Monroe, isn't big enough on their own to support high-speed rail. But if we can get enough regional traffic in, like even El Dorado up here going down to Monroe, maybe, we probably can go up, yeah. Anyways, that kind of stuff is going to draw people into Monroe, and we can use that to really boost that. But also, like, you know, it's going to continue to Jackson or you know, stuff like that. So, and also Monroe will eventually be a stop between like Little Rock, Monroe, Alexandria, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, New Orleans, stuff like that. New Orleans. I feel like no matter which way you say it, it's gonna bother someone. So, anyways, that's the basic overall plan I kind of discussed in what got cut out. Now, what I'm putting down right now in Shreveport, I am under the tram setting, which is 60 kilometers per hour. Which honestly, I maybe could have gotten by with a little bit more. I didn't want to overdo it, but I really could have gotten by with. I think tram makes more sense because I want pretty frequent stops, though. Yeah, so I think tram probably makes more sense. The other lines cost way more than a tram line would, but, you know, we are going, like, for example, you can choose what train you put on the tram line. So I'm not sure what these are modeled off of in real life, but we're probably going to use these Novus Petard trains. They're my favorite to use because they can go a little faster than the 60 kilometer per hour one, so you don't have to worry about speed. They're pretty cheap, only $30 for one car. Yeah, we'll get to that. I started with the station downtown. Let me show you how a station gets built, just in case that didn't get picked up in the recording. So 200 meters, about, give or take, is what all the stations are going to be on this line, just in case, so I can extend the length of the cars later if needed, or even replace it with a different car that has more capacity if we want to upgrade the tracks later and stuff. It'll just give us more flexibility because this is going to be the backbone of Shreveport's city transit. This line is going to be the backbone, and we're going to have stuff radiating off of that line, and that's going to be, I think, how I design theirs. We'll probably build another one that goes east and west, like in the south part or something too, just so there isn't so much pressure on this one line. because this one line's going to get pretty backed up with that being the case. But, oh yeah, there's a regional airport there. So yeah, an east to west thing would make a lot of sense there. Okay, also I said in the thing too that like, here for example, I'm not going to worry about exactly getting right where the rail would be. I'm not going to cheat it to get the speed to be manipulated or anything, but I think that's boring watching that level of detail. So as long as we are pretty much where it would be, that's what I'm aiming for. Because I want a realistic scenario of what the transit would be like in real life in this scenario, you know? So that's what we're aiming for. So, just gonna finish this up here. Now, what's the last one? That's it, okay. So now that all the stations are built and all of the line between them is built, now our blueprint's done. That was a blueprint. It doesn't actually build until you push this button here, build all blueprints. That was $60 million, or $60,006,539. We're gonna build that blueprint. We are gonna go to lines, create a new line. Now this, oh, and I also said in the previous thing too, I love transit. There might be things that you see me do that isn't the most efficient. I'm open to suggestions, feedback, comments. Obviously, just be nice. I'll be nice, you be nice, we'll all be nice. I'll probably name it Shreveport. We'll name it Shreve one line, which SHLA 1. And that's going to be the city code, state code, and then the line code. Base ticket price, we'll bet $2. Price per kilometer, 20 cents. That's just how the game handles it. I think in real life, that's not a very practical pricing method. I don't think that's a common one, at least in the US. I like to we'll keep the city lines in. Actually, I've never done that like that in this game. Maybe the city lines will be one color, the regional lines will be another color, and then the high-speed lines will be another color. I don't know. Either that or each state will have their own color. We'll see. I normally do it where each hub has their own color. I think I should stick to that. It'll make it less confusing for me. Okay, let's start at this end, I guess. It don't really matter. We will go from here to here to here. East, east. Now, I'm also not going to go in and rename these stations. I know that's a little annoying, probably. But there's just going to be way too many stations we're dealing with. And I'm much more interested in how many people are going to be riding these. Now, when you get to the end, instead of pushing east, because you can't go east, we're going to do the west button. I have like a thing on my finger. I hate that when you're like on your mouse pad and you can feel a crumb or something. That's not exactly what it was, but that's an awful feeling. Especially when you're in the middle of doing something and you like can't get it off. Okay. 30 stops, that's a pretty big line. Let's go ahead and put the train down on it. Under train, this is what it defaults to when you open the game. We're going to push purchase pre-configured train. My favorite train to use is the Novus Petard. I'm going to go ahead and use that, I think. And because we're going to have so many transfers, I think I'm going to start with 2 cars. We will have to expand those to the full 5 cars eventually, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. We'll start with 2 cars, and we will do probably 3, 1 for every 10 stops. I think that's pretty fair. And that'll be on the Shreveport, Shreve 1 line. And that should be good. And then we can go back to lines here, the Shreve 1 line, and open it for passenger service. Now this is fun for me. You can click on state. This lists every stop on the station, on the line. We'll have to speed it up a little bit here till just we can see that the train gets deployed. There it is. Now that the train's deployed, you can click on it too. It zooms in. We'll zoom out some. And then you can kind of watch it go. Now we're not going to do this the whole time, but something that's interesting is, which one are we? Oh, this one. It tells you in real life time how much time it would take between stations. So it would be a minute right now to get to that, and it would stop. Let's see as this takes off here how much time it takes to get to the station after that. It's departing almost 3 minutes from here to here. That's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Tram lines generally aren't super fast. I didn't think that Shreveport was really populated enough to justify a more medium rail, like a heavier rail, you know. This is more like a lighter rail. It really is, because of the train I use and the way I am, you know, doing it and stuff. But like also something I said earlier too, like in real life, I don't know, maybe this thing here is a giant hill in real life, and maybe the line couldn't go along the road there because of whatever reason. I don't know that, but I'm also not going to concern myself about that in this game. It would take way too much effort to try to go through all that on Google Maps. Now, for now, none of them will be close to capacity because I added the second train to all of them because we need to build another line. I think before we do another line though, I think I kind of want to do something a bit more regional. What if we went up to Benton? Let me check Benton out. Do we have enough catchment here? Yes. We probably, honestly, let's do one thing at a time here. Okay, where's, downtown. Now this is one thing as well. Because we're in downtown, we're gonna go ahead and do a tunnel here. I don't know. There would be a lot of initial pushback for building a tunnel in Shreveport, probably. But that's fine. We're going to anyways. Obviously, you don't have to deal with pushback in the actual game like that, but... Okay, now how are we actually going to bring this along? Do we want to keep the tunnel maybe until this road? Oh, yeah, that's perfect, because that goes up to Benton. We could actually go along here. Well, no, we'll just still do this. We'll probably do one stop here, one stop here, and one stop here. We'll try that. Okay. So tunnel until this road. We're gonna probably have a city line going along that, so I'm not gonna worry about those people in this, because this is more of a regional thing, so I don't want to have a ton of stops. Because of that, Vanceville, sure. At this point, it will be ground level. I built the other one at 200 meters, But honestly, this isn't that populated of an area, so I think we are going to do 100. It's going to save us a lot more maintenance money. In real life, it would. I think that'd be a lot more realistic. What was the station catchment? 3,800. Not great, not bad. Okay, and then another one here. Okay, is that better than up here? Yeah, I think it was. That's about the same. Okay. Now, where is it going outside of this? Over to Spring Hill, probably? So I think we're gonna do something like this then. Okay. We are doing our rule still of at least has to have 1,000 people. Is there anything along the way that's populated? Like, okay. I didn't know what kind of density we was looking at there. We're not doing it right there, but okay. I was just testing some stuff out. I don't know how this is gonna go, honestly, because we have a lot of space between these stations. I don't know if this is gonna work out as well as the one I did in Indiana. I've never done it in this spread out of an area before, so we definitely will see how this goes. Okay, call in post office, and then Spring Hill. I almost said Springfield. I kind of want to do Taylor, but no, that'll be a part of Magnolia later when we get to Arkansas. Or a part of a different one, I don't know. It'll be a part of a hub. Okay. Now that one is going to have let's just do medium speed. I know I did the stations with the tram stations, but it don't matter. The train has to slow down to go through the station anyways. Now at this point we're underground, so it really doesn't matter where I take the tracks. So I'll just go near those, just so that we can see them still in the game. In real life, obviously they would probably put them under. Actually, in real life, they do sometimes go under stuff too. I feel like it would make more sense though if they went along the road. So let's go ahead and do that. I like to try to keep this as realistic as possible, kind of, without going too boring into the details and stuff, you know. Oh, damn. See, I got really carried away. Let's go back just a little bit, because these, okay, these go above ground as a tram. Now, can we medium trying to keep it between those two, like in the median of this road. left side of the road. We're going to do a thing now where we go along the left side of the road, which is a thing that they oftentimes do. We are like further out, so most houses and businesses and stuff will probably be further back off the road where we could try to get some kind of easement, which I know those aren't easy to do, but I think that it would make, okay, I thought that it did that. I was looking for under conflicts on the left. I was making sure that wasn't coming up is what I was doing, just to explain. Honestly, this reminds me of, I live in Kokomo, Indiana, and there's a road called Davis Road, and the tracks are used for freight trains, obviously, because Indiana sucks, but there are train tracks along Davis Road, like to the side like this. Okay, and then we'll probably, we're getting basically in town now, so we'll turn that into tram and then go back on the road again. I can't remember, there was a train that I used yesterday that was better for a medium track like this. Obviously, I think that if rail was being built in Louisiana, I should just preface, I'm not saying that this would be the first thing that would be built or anything. I just know that we are going to end up with a complete, absolutely, like, everything that could feasibly be covered being covered. And I do think that once we have everything connected, it's going to bring ridership to each other in ways that this will make sense then. I know right now we are seeing a very high bill. Really trying to get closer to the road there just because I know it looks like there's some houses in that area with the way the density map showed. Swindleville? It looks like most of them live on the other side of the road though. Okay, I was like, did we miss it? Like a turn or something? No, we didn't. Back into tram. Okay, I just wanted to make sure we was going on the right road. I thought we were, but you can never be too careful. Now, okay, I was seeing which side of the road I should go on for the tracks again. I was at ground level on these, weren't I? I think so, yeah. I was gonna say, because if not, I really don't feel like redoing that, and that's really sad. I've done that before, though, been on the wrong elevation level, and then have to go back and redo it. Well, not have to, but just there's certain things. Oh, you have to cross the road at a very certain angle. It can't be too angled, basically. for a medium speed track. Or, what is it called? Yeah, medium speed. I honestly wanted to do this video because, first of all, I love, like I said, public transportation, how networks build out. I am very, almost anti-car, honestly. Like, I don't think anti-car is in no one should have a car. I just really think that we shouldn't live in a society where, in the United States at least, you don't really have any options other than to own a car. I mean, you do, because I don't own a car. But it's very difficult to get by without owning a car, and everyone does things in the United States centered around a car. Like, if you don't have a car, people won't hang out with you. People won't, like, go anywhere without one, and, like, I don't know, you can go from one end of a shopping plaza to the other, which is a short distance, and people will get in their car and drive from one store to the other in the US. And I just think that's stupid. No offense to US people. I live in the US too. But that's my inspiration behind this, and also, like, the random state thing. I'm like, let's end up doing the whole country. And I think it would be an interesting challenge, since I don't know that much about a lot of these places. It'll be an interesting challenge for me. Okay, back to tram. That was a little too far down south from the actual road, but it's fine. The way we cut that there, the speed limit is going to go down a lot there, but that's fine. It's a turn. A car would have to slow down a lot too. Oh, was that? Oh, there is one more. Okay, medium speed. I also think that there's probably a lot of, like, weird states about, like, how railroad intersections should be in some states, and obviously I don't know those, so. If there's anything ever that requires me to literally redo an entire region, I'm probably not, and it probably is just gonna stay that way. Just so you know. But I will take things like that into consideration for future things. Okay, I'm so thirsty. I need to get a drink as soon as I lay down these blueprints. Now, with what I was saying earlier too, honestly, out of the regional lines built for this, for Shreveport, this would probably be one of the last ones to get done. Just because we could have made it way cheaper by doing the tram connections, but wow, that's actually really long. But unlike Indiana, see, this is why you look at the density here, so much emptiness. Whereas, like, here, there's so much, like, things you could do a tram line, pick up so many people, and still make, I don't know. It's just a different beast when I did this. I don't know. I'm excited to get to Indiana eventually, though, because I have a lot in mind for there, and I think that's going to be a lot better. I guess I should have had a disclaimer for that at the beginning. We're definitely going to learn some lessons together here. Let's just go ahead and build it. Okay. Let's see. Lines. Oh, that's not what I wanted. We'll delete that one then. Okay, stops. Shreve Regional 1. Actually, Regional. Maybe we'll name it actually Shreveport, Shreve to Spring Hill. Let's do, because I don't think we're going to have probably more than like 10 lines in the actual city of Shreveport, so we'll do 50 as the code number for that, and we'll start at 50 for the regional ones. 2 for the ticket price, and then 20 cents for the price per kilometer. Actually, since this is a regional thing, maybe 30 cents. And I think I'm going to do, like I said earlier, where red will just be the color of this hub. That way I won't get it mixed up later. Okay, and then make sure we select the right platform. North from there, there, Spring Hill. Oh, I need to delete that last one. I hate how it makes the name of so many stations blah 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 Baptist Church and stuff like that. Like, obviously that wouldn't be the name of the station. It makes it feel less realistic to me in a way that bothers me. But I also know that it is a lot of effort to go in and rename these stations. Okay. That's 12 stops. Is Vega, is that the one I used? No, that is, maybe. I feel like there's one that goes 160 kilometers. I'm looking also at the maintenance per day. North Storm. That one's expensive per day. That one's really expensive. That one's pretty expensive as well. That one don't go that fast. Maybe the thing I'm thinking of is Vega. 100. I think that might be the one I used in the Indiana ones. It unfortunately only goes 100 kilometers per hour, but that's still much faster than the other one. It's 114 a day if we was to have all these. But we're going to actually use a different feature for this. So we're going to go to Edit as Custom Train. And I don't think this line's going to be that busy, so I'm going to take out the middle car. And we're going to... I think because the line's so big, I think I'm going to do 2 trains still, though. that means that they probably still won't get serviced that much just because the line is 167 kilometers an hour. Does it tell you here? Oh. So it looks like it might take about 2 hours for the whole line. Really? Am I looking at that wrong? I've never looked at that part of it. Oh, that's the time. Oh, no, that's right. Do I want to use a different train? I mean, what are my other options that's somewhat affordable? It's a little faster, I think, right? What's that one that is like 160 even? That's really expensive. 390 a day? Caillou, 120. That one's 318 a day though. This one is, oh, it goes faster. It's cheaper per day. The dimensions is a little too long for our stuff. We'll delete, honestly we'll probably delete quite a bit of these if we're going to use this. I think those three trains is fine. 165 is the max passengers. 125 kilometers per day. Yeah, we'll purchase those two and then I'll get rid of, we'll just sell these two because we didn't actually even open the line yet anyways, so it's fine. We'll just pretend like that didn't even happen. Okay, now it's a little under 2 hours. So the stops will be once an hour basically. I feel like once an hour isn't terrible for, you know, that far out. I also have to think too, like the UK for example. I don't know too much about the rail service there, but I do know some pretty remote areas are serviced. I think that we will go ahead and now what road do I want to use to get out of downtown? This road here? Okay. Now we'll start out as a tunnel, so it don't really matter. The other one that was -1 depth, I think, right? So we'll do -2. Well, actually, can I build one here and it still count as the other? No, it counts as its own station. Okay, well, we'll just do this. -2 underground, and then honestly, while we're already servicing this, because this will probably mostly be tram, maybe we could do tram up to like the edge of town and then switch over to medium speed for some of this, just to make it go faster. That way we can service just 2 birds with 1 stone. Because I think it'll up the ridership on this line, and I don't think having 2 lines basically by each other is that worth it when we're not going that much farther outside of town, honestly. See, this is the thing of like, this isn't that populated of an area, but all of these stations are not only clearing my 1,000 threshold, pretty well exceeding it, honestly, even though they're not like super great, but like, you know. And again, I don't remember if I said it in the actual recording or if it was when I thought it was recording, but one of my requirements would be like, I think of it as like, oh, you know, we're a private business here, entity or person who just really loves transit, and you know, we went in and we was like, you know what, I want to build a transit system in Louisiana, and your rule was, you know, you emailed the governor or whatever, you had a meeting with the governor, and he was like, okay, I want to build a transit in your state. My one rule is you have to focus on walkability. We don't get all of mooring support there, but like the difference between here and here isn't that much. As long as it was walkable to get to here, I think people would still use it. Okay. Honestly, the way this town's set up, we might be able to catch the whole town in one station. Now, with that being said though, since we are gonna probably go north, okay, we are able to do outside of that service area and get a new service area with still a decent population. Okay. Yeah, that's not enough. It kind of looked like it wouldn't be. Yep, that looks good. I think we might do that. See, my thing is, do we really want to... I don't know. Let's just build the lines in the city and then we'll get to the outside of the city after. Tracks. I kept the tunnel until right outside of the river because you have to build something like that to cross the water anyways, so why not? I was looking at something because I want to move out of Indiana, and I was looking at something on Google Maps earlier, and for those who don't know, to like scroll like this on the map, you have to right click on the mouse to do that, not left click. Left click like does stations or tracks, it does something in game. Anyways, and obviously that's not how Google Maps works, so that was funny to me, because I sometimes spend so much time, and I've recently spent so much time playing this. were building at ground level, I'm assuming that that looks like it goes over, so that's my thought process with not changing the mode there. Which, like I said earlier, I don't really know some of those things anyways. I think it's interesting that, like, most of the United States, for those of you who don't know outside of the country, it's divided, like, the states are divided into counties. There's, like, county governments and different stuff like that. Louisiana is one of the only states that doesn't have that. They have parishes instead of counties. And I can't remember if it's all the parishes or only some or what, but there's some unorganized territory in Louisiana. I'm not really sure where the unorganized territory is supposed to be, but I know a lot of it's swampy. The swampiness, but also the fact that I know that some of it's unorganized, supposedly, it made me a little concerned for this before I looked up Louisiana at all. I mean, I knew Shreveport was in the north, I knew New Orleans was in the south, but I was like, what's gonna connect them? I didn't know anything about Louisiana before. And honestly, I think that there's a lot more space between stuff here than, like, even Indiana. So I don't think maybe I should have done medium there. What is that? Unlimited height. Well, looks like there's a lot of stuff along the road here, so it would be pretty hard at that point. I guess a little better now. Okay. Medium speed ground. Do it along the side of the road again. I just know that there would be so many people, so many NIMBY people. Along this road, mad because they lost. Well, I'm assuming, I don't know, what happens when a project like this happens along the road like this? Does the city, state pay the people for their land that they're taking, basically? Or do they just say, okay, we're eminent domaining this now and now it's ours? I mean, I know it probably varies and it probably could go either way, but I'm curious. Okay, tram, ground. Even just, I mean, like these trams being built, I mean, depends on the road. If it's a 4-lane road, for example, the cars may lose a lane, which oftentimes is more than okay. Oh, also, I'm assuming that this video, if anyone watches it, no one will probably be watching at this point, but if anyone is, where do you live? Where is, like, some places you would like to live that is, like, really transit forward or walkability forward? Oops. See, there's keyboard shortcuts and I just pushed one and it switched to high-speed rail. It didn't build any high-speed rail though. Okay. But I only ask because I am most likely going to be moving in like a year or two. I kind of want to live in the Seattle area, but I also know that that can be expensive, so I don't know that I'll get to. And I kind of want to live in the Minneapolis area. But I also am kind of considering Providence, Rhode Island. I feel like Providence is a very underrated oh no, I named it a different thing. Okay. I feel like Providence is a very underrated city, especially compared to like the rest of the Northeast. See, this is the thing of this is gonna be just Louisiana alone is gonna be a bunch of parts here. Getting this all done. But like things like this, like you wouldn't see the line unless, because I thought about like pausing it, building the stations down, and then, but I would still have to zoom in and show you them. Okay, so that's the last one, right? Yeah. I don't know why I thought there was a third station by Vivian. There'd probably end up being like infill stations along the thing too, because a route like this would make people move here, so like there'd probably be a station here or something end up there eventually because of this. Oh, I want to show you guys the downtown station after we open this and let it run for a second, because you will see, well, I don't know, it's pretty late in the day, it probably won't, but you'll see that people, now we are going to do the Nova Spitard. I'm probably saying that wrong, but whatever. What kind of, none of these stations are that dense, so we're going to have one car on them. That'll still be 120 per car, and then because we have like 25 stations, I think, or something, we'll do 3 trains since they're all only 1 car each. And then I will put it on the correct line here, and then I'll purchase. Okay, and then we will go back and we will open this up for passenger service. While that takes a second to deploy the train. Now this line is going to fill up a lot as we wait, so like down here, you know, right now it's not that. That's a decent amount of people waiting on some of these. Downtown has 23, but as the trains fill up, like this one has, none of them have anyone on them yet. Oh yeah, I said it's late at night, so it probably won't get that many. There will be more and more people showing up at the downtown station in particular, though. And the trains are gonna thin out this late at night, too. It's pretty decent. Let me see. Okay, let's go ahead and do Now see, in this game, I know that someone's going to tell me, well, actually you can. This is how you do it. I'm not doing all that. In the game, you can't really, like, expand the station by, like, oh, there would be more tracks on this. So, yeah, we're just going to do a little funny thing, and I'll explain to you why I'm doing it this way. Tram, underground. I don't know that it would necessarily be underground, but just so that the simulation works better, we're going to do it this way. And we will do... Oh, I don't think I need that long. Let's actually go ahead and start this way, like this. And then 100 meters. Now technically, I would probably just expand this and have the tracks, just expand them to where they could hold more and have more capacity. But I feel like it's just easier to do that this way in the game. So we'll just run along this. We'll pretend like we did that. Okay. And then ground level, tram. Okay. Now. Station, tram station, yes. We will do here to here. Plaza Circle. And then here to here. And then we will do here to here. Some cities I might, but I don't really love them being right in front of them at middle school. So I'll put it like a little down the street. I mean, I think with the kind of transportation network we're going to end up with, I think people would absolutely use it to get to school. And I know in a lot of countries they do, but currently in the US, that's not really a thing. It does still have my 1,000 people requirement. Okay. That will be one line going south. This is more of like one of the city ones, you know? I don't feel like dissecting this intersection. I mean, there's a number of ways it could do it. It doesn't change how efficient this line will be, though, whether we make this a tunnel or an overpass or whatever. So I'm just not going to do that. And I also don't really know what the area's topography and like other stuff looks like, so I don't really know what would make the most sense for that too, you know? One thing that I really like about Minneapolis is, I haven't ever been there, but the bike highway that they have that you can use to get from one end of town to the other is really nice looking. And I mean, it really rivals how long it takes to get there on a car too, honestly, so very good. This one's going to be a little smaller of a station. I should have named these station lines a little better so they went more in order, so it was easier to, because when we get these all done, this is going to be kind of confusing. The names of them will be, but whatever. Shreveport, Louisiana, 3, 2. Honestly, we may just get to Shreveport today. Maybe in the next episode we'll do Monroe, which won't have that much in it, and we'll kind of connect this all up on a high-speed line. I will caution again, though, the high-speed line won't do that well when we first build it, because Shreveport to Monroe is not really top high-speed, stuff. We might even extend the high-speed just to Jackson, but even that, until we build the transit system in Jackson and the regional transit in Jackson, it won't be that successful there either. I don't know if we will do a random state next, or if we'll kind of radiate out from this. Oh, that last one I need to get rid of. Honestly though, Tennessee, for example, kind of makes me a little nervous because of how many mountains there are. And I feel like I'm going to take a path with a train that someone's going to be like, you couldn't do that because this mountain's here. Either way, I don't think this game, when it comes to how much like the line takes to get built, for example, I don't think it really takes into account the slope. Does it even have elevation? Interesting. Okay. Assets? Maybe? No. Okay. How many stations is on that? 14 stops. I think 2 trains with 1 car each should be fine for that. Oh, now that it's daytime. Oh, it does that because the station's line's not open yet. They'll spawn in a second now. Downtown is still doing pretty decent. This station will probably stack up some now. Yeah, it already is quite a bit. That means this line must be doing... Wow. This line's doing pretty well. That train almost filled up. Oh, this train... Yeah, next time it comes back, it won't even be able to take everyone. Okay, I might have to then... That's going to kind of mess it up for a second, but we'll just go to replace. We'll add a second car. And that only charges us for the extra car then. So replace, add the extra car. Yeah, that's going to be needed for that line. Even still, yeah, wow. So that's doing pretty well. That's not bad. 108 was on that one train just now. I think they're getting on in Shreveport, and then as they get closer to this, more and more people get off, which makes sense. That's how it would work in real life too. Someone's getting on, probably in Spring Hill they're getting on to go back. And that adds up more and more to the end. 109. It ends with 130. So it almost fills up before it gets it back downtown again. And it leaves with it. That's not bad. That would be one of those trains of when you get on, oh, this is pretty full, but there's still some room. This one, oh, actually that's not bad. It does fill up before the end. That means some of these stations down here, Yeah, that one's not. Let's see if we can't help that. Oops, that's not what I want. Selection tool, auto walk transfer, that still don't help. See, if these stations were close enough, I could set it up to where people would walk from this station to that station to transfer instead of getting on a train. Which, from here, maybe they could. Further downtown? No, not quite. Downtown could on this one, but right now we don't have anything on that. I think the next one going south will be this road here, whatever that is. Let's go ahead and do this, this probably, and then let's just see what those look like, and then we'll knock out a bunch at once here. Okay, -2 underground for tram. Now this is underground, so it doesn't need to be like right on the road or anything. 100 meters. And these tracks would be going under everything there. So anyways. I'm just trying to follow a main road so that I don't have to keep finding alternate paths as we go. I would prefer them not to be a highway, and it doesn't look like this one is. Just because, you know, the busier they are, more highway-like, the more we're going to have to fight Louisiana and Shreveport to make that area walkable. It just now dawned on me, someone from Shreveport will probably see this video at some point. Hearts Island, what is that, I wonder? That's a lot of parking lot with there, whatever that is. Louisiana State University, Shreveport. Well, that just sounds like the perfect train stop. And then there's also Encompass Health Rehabilitation Hospital. Well, a hospital is fairly good for that too. 100 meters. If it goes over a little bit, like 101 or something, that's not bad. Yeah, that will be the end of that. Then let's go ahead. You know what? It's fine. It doesn't change how the game would work. Actually, it might change the acceleration of the trains a little bit in a bad way against our favor, but you know, we'll work with it. I, for some reason, built all the stations as tunnels. But you know what? We're just gonna roll with it because there's still tram stations in the end, so. It'll be fine. That is going to increase the cost though, but we are playing with unlimited money, so it don't really matter. We are just seeing kind of how successful this stuff would be. I'm excited to do every state in the country. I wonder if we'll be able to do it all in one save, or how resource intensive that is, you know? Like, am I gonna have to split it up into several different save files for each part of the country or something? I don't know. I've never had one of these game files be unstable because it's so big, and I've built quite a bit out before, so. Okay, now we can go underground. Even though I accidentally built the stations as underground, that's not bad, 21 million. Just a small loan. Okay. I couldn't find my mouse. Shreve. I feel like I'm spelling Shreve wrong there, aren't I? No, I'm not. I'm not saying it right, though. I think they say it's something different, but it's probably one of those things, considering it's Louisiana. It probably... Well, anyone that's watching from France or Quebec, is it a French background, that name? I know that French and German isn't the same, but I've obviously studied German. If you've seen me before, that's obvious, that is. Anyways, I've never seen that before. I'm always interested, because I went to Berlin like a year ago. I'm always interested to see the difference of like the experience you'll have between Berlin and Paris. No hate to Paris. Berlin was really nice though. Really in particular with like language, you know what I mean? Like in... Oh, this stops at the station. The line's a little bit more expensive too. It is 3 a.m. right now though, so none of them's going to be popular. So there is 12 stops. I wonder if I can get by with like... Those are pretty decently sized stations. Maybe 2 trains that are 3 cars each. I think this one's going to be a little bit busier than the last one we built. Okay, and then let's open that to passenger service. Is really late, and the fact that has anyone at it is good, since it just opened. What is that one that... Oh, here it is. That one takes about 37 minutes to complete the whole thing. But if you're just going from downtown to here, then it would be like 16 minutes. Oh, fun fact, by the way, just so we all know what to expect with the high speed when we get to it. When I did it in Indiana, Evansville to Indianapolis was about an hour. That is a huge span. By car, that takes like 3 hours, I think, or something. I don't know. And then from Indianapolis up to Kokomo was like 20 minutes. And then Kokomo to Fort Wayne was like 40 minutes maybe. I'll probably do a similar build when we get to Indiana, so I'll get into that with you guys when we get to that state. I just thought that'd be fun to share. We probably are going to do an interstate line going down the median of the interstate here. Unless I can find a road that really goes all the way through. Actually, it looks like I found one. It looks like this road here goes all the way through. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. We'll actually do that. I would much rather not go on the interstate unless I have to. Okay, let's do underground -2. Oops, nope. Back to the station. There's a car alarm going off. Hopefully you guys can't hear it. It's extremely annoying. 100 meters? See, I don't know the names of any of these streets or anything about them or like any landmarks. So some things would be a little different in real life. But this definitely gives us a base model of like what the population catchments would be for each station, how many people might ride them, how like each of the lines would play off of each other. I think we're gonna do one down here at the end of the street. I think we might have to go underground there for just a short amount. I think it would make most sense to go this way. I got my hair cut the other day, and so yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. I'm surprised we're still getting about 5,000 for each of these stations. The game of how far south can I go before the stations start being irrelevant. I think that's, well, we're almost at the end of where we even can go. That's pretty good. That's going to be not that long of a line, actually. It's a decently sized line. It's a healthy line, but it's not like crazy or nothing. Tram, depth, -2, yep. And then now that we are across to this, we will go back above ground. Did I build the stations underground again? I sure did. Whatever. Someone's gonna be so mad watching this, like, oh my god, you did it again. It really doesn't matter though, I promise you, it doesn't change anything. Like, unless you're wanting to see how expensive the line would be to build, which I don't even know how accurate this game is with that anyways. Just count it as like a rounded up or down error, like for a margin of error. Because I'm sure there'd be unexpected things in real life that would be added to the bill. No, I didn't think that was the end. Okay. 27 million, kind of, but not really. I didn't I mean, I happened to so far, but I haven't purposefully put stops near this road for a good east-west line. So far I've happened to do that though. Okay, 16 stops, that's not bad. I think this line will be similar to the other one, except this one's a little longer. I think 2 trains with 3 cars each is still fine though for this one. I might add like a 3rd train with only 1 car in it or something though. That train will fill up fast though, but that's fine. Now, if I ever get to the point, can these, that one can't. I didn't know if I could make the auto walk transfer thing, make it to where they would transfer by walking, but none of them are close enough to transfer by walking. Yeah. Okay, and then probably one more going south from here along this. That's not an interstate, right? I don't think so. I'm sure it's a strode from hell, though it looks like it would be. Okay. Now, like I said earlier, this would probably not be actually underground. I'm just doing this more so we can see it better. And because I can't expand it, like, or at least I don't know how to where you can make like more tracks at this one station. So we're just gonna do this. That's underground, but I don't think that it actually would be this far out of downtown. And then we are going to, I mean, we can put it at ground level now, but I don't think that it really matters. Okay. Giddy up, pony. UPS. Okay, we'll do one there. I was like, is there enough people down here even for this? There is. That might, well, there's some people on the map down here. Bluebird Hill Airport. What are we looking at down here? Are we gonna have, we could have some regional stops along here. Yeah, it looks like that's a pretty dense area in the sense of like, it's not really a city at all, but you could have several regional stops along this. We'll do that at some point probably. I'm glad I left the interstate open for that. That can be where the regional line travels down. You can travel down to like maybe a stop somewhere in here from that and that. I don't know. And then it could go along there. Yeah, that sounds okay. Okay. Did I do it again? No, I didn't. I was like, are those above ground or underground? Okay. Honestly, I think Shreveport is like the biggest tackle here. Oh, I am so sorry, by the way, if that's like grading someone how I'm saying that. I only say that because I don't know if I should reveal this publicly. There's only one, you know how like some people get like annoyed how people say everything? That's not typically me. But there is one word that people will oftentimes say a certain way that makes me so mad. Not mad, but like my OCD or something, it triggers something in me that I can't explain, and I physically cannot watch something where someone is saying that word. So AQUA, that word, how would you say it? So I feel like most people would say aqua, because there's a group from the 90s, and I feel like I've heard people say that, and I feel like most of the time I've heard aqua. I feel like I have heard British people say it that way. I've heard Europeans in general say it that way. I've heard Australians say it that way. Maybe it's just because they was talking to me or something. I don't know. But I've heard people from all around the world say aqua. But Canadians, I love you guys, but that word, so far I've heard it say wrong. I've heard it say the annoying way several times, and every single time it's been by a Canadian person, so I think it's just a Canadian thing. And I will say it once, just so that you guys know what I'm talking about. But the annoying pronunciation is aqua. Ooh, I hate that so much. It makes me so angry. There's a YouTuber I really like. I'm not gonna say their name because I don't want them to I don't have any ill will towards them or anything, obviously. I love watching their videos. I used to watch them all the time, but I stopped watching them as much because they do Pokemon challenges. And once they got into later generations, especially Gen 3, which is one of my favorite generations for Pokemon, so I'm really sad that I can't watch them. There's Team Aqua, and you fight them a lot. And so I hear the word a lot, and I just can't watch them. And even later videos and later generations, I'll hear him say their name, and I can't. I really can't. I know that sounds silly. Please tell me you guys have something that's like really random. Like, so for a French person, I know sometimes some people that are French get annoyed by people how they say croissant, which because of the aqua thing, I totally get that maybe it just makes your skin crawl. On a common sense level, aqua, I don't like whatever, everyone says it differently, that's fine. You know what I mean? But on a me level, it just bothers me. So like the same thing with croissant though. Like, I could see why it would annoy someone. I don't care if someone says the word. French people will oftentimes say, well, in French, it's pronounced this way, and it's a French thing. But, like, you're speaking the English borrowed it, and now it's an English word. Like, they're not speaking the French word, they're speaking the English word, you know what I mean? I don't have a train on there yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and open it. There's 16 stops. I think this one could have 2 cars per train though. Let's go ahead and open it so I don't have to come back, because it won't take that long to do this. We'll down to 2 trains, or 2 cars. Line 6, 2 trains. We're good. Okay, And then honestly, that's already pretty good. I think the biggest thing now is maybe something east to west that gets some of this. But honestly, even this backbone thing, I don't know if I need to build another east-west line, because this seems to be handling everything more than fine. What does that say? Kruba of Gemini? I'm definitely saying that wrong. Let's go ahead and see how some of these are going though. The backbone of the system. Where's this one at? So it's pretty full because it left downtown. I figured downtown would be fuller since we have two things radiating off of it. Maybe some of our regional lines might stick off of this too. Like we may have a line going south and picking up some of this maybe too. Because that's a decent amount of red dots there. We probably could muster up the $1,000 minimum or 1,000 people minimum thing that I do. We probably could have an extension go out here. I think we're gonna go ahead and end the video here though. I will do another one of these later. Oh, we need to go north along this, probably all the way up to that. Focusing on this northern corridor of Louisiana, and yeah, we'll just get Louisiana done, get all of the local, city, regional, and high-speed rails set up to go so that we can extend. I don't know, like I said, if we're going to do the random state generator, or maybe we'll just do a state next door like Arkansas or Mississippi. But I think from Louisiana, Mississippi would make more sense if we did that. Even though Monroe is a hub, we could go north to that, but I don't think there's going to be as much to do in Mississippi as Louisiana. Just because it's more north to south, and there's not that many, like, pickup opportunities here. That's not terrible, Grenada. Like, terrible, population-wise. Anyways, line 2, that, it does better once it gets closer to downtown. That's not terrible. Line 3. That one's okay. And then line 4. That one. We might have been okay with the 2 cars for each train. How long does it take to get through this? Oh, 37 minutes. So a train comes every like 15 minutes on the last one. This one, 50 minutes. So a train comes every like 25 minutes on this one. Not that great, but compared to most of the US, and I think what's already in Shreveport, it's pretty good. I don't think there's really a reward in this game for like more rapid pickups. Line 6. Honestly, we could have maybe gotten by with 1 car. but maybe in the morning time. And also when the trains get to here, they need to be able to pick up everyone. Although currently with what's there right now at 6:30 Louisiana time, it would be enough for one train car. Just trying to get a sense of what we want to do for next time. Oh, that's the interstate. That's not an interstate. Okay. Well, anyways, I think that we had a pretty successful start here. We're going to have to connect this up to other things like Minden, Homer, Ruston, Monroe. We'll probably connect this up to Minden and Homer and maybe Haynesville. And then we'll probably do Monroe to Ruston to Arcadia and maybe Gippsland. We could have one go up north here, up to maybe like there, one up to there. We could have a high speed go between these two. The high speed would eventually, like I said, connect more, but anyways, that'll be for next time. Let me know what you think. If you have any constructive criticism, I know I would be happy watching something like this. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you enjoyed this. If there's anything I can do to improve my presentation, let me know. And I will see you guys later.